Welcome back. In precision shooting circles, there's an open secret that a weak firing pin or striker spring will result in flyers and increased velocity spreads. This usually builds up over time, and that might make you question your barrel or your reloading. It's insidious in that the spring doesn't fail suddenly, it just weakens slowly. The first hint is a few flyers outside of the group. Later, the groups will get big vertically. That could be months or even years before the wheels come off and the rifle won't hold vertical well enough to shoot even passable scores. Or worse yet, it starts misfiring. Now, do you have a rifle that isn't performing? Is your ES creeping up? Or is your rifle hard to tune? It could be an ignition problem. Striker springs are inexpensive compared to wasted ammunition trying to get a rifle to perform well. I, for one, have been changing my firing pin springs annually on my Remington 700 style strikers, like my Kelbley Golden Bear, and biannually on the Bernard Actions. I recently added a step to my process that I want to show you. I can now check the state of my striker springs at home with reloading tools I already have sitting around. If you have a K&M or 21st Century Seating Force equipped press, you can do this. I'll demonstrate with my 21st Century Hydro Press. I've turned the head of the press around backward to make a little more room to fit the striker assembly under it, and then clamp the press to this table. If needed, I could place a block beneath the press to make it even higher, but that isn't necessary for these short action strikers. After carefully placing the striker assembly as close to perfectly vertical as possible, I press down gently until I reach the fully cocked position, or more accurately, until the cocking piece touches the tabletop. Then I increase the pressure more, at least 10 pounds more, to work the hysteresis out of the gauge. Letting off gently, you will notice that the gauge falls to a value and stays there. That is your spring reading. Here is a new stock spring for my Kelbley's Golden Bear. It shows 22 pounds. The spring is rated at 24, so that seems reasonable. Now let's try a Wolf 28-pound rated spring. It settles in at 26 pounds. From this, we can surmise that if we add 2 pounds to the reading with this technique, we can determine the approximate spring rate. Your press may vary, but it's easy to test for yourself. More importantly, we can occasionally retest a spring to learn when it's starting to lose its strength, long before you would ever see it on target. There are plenty of videos on YouTube on how to replace the striker springs. I won't burden you with that part. One caution about changing springs out though. A new, healthy spring can change your rifle tune. A fine-tuning check of the load is in order after replacing a weak spring. I've found that in addition to fixing ES problems, a new, stronger spring can increase the average velocity as well. So whip out that chronograph. Look for future videos on differences between striker spring rates and how they impact the tunability of a rifle. That's all I have for you today. Shoot straight, check those springs, and I'll see you in the next video.